Good morning, everyone. This is Mortgage Pros 411. I'm Audrey Boyceno, my co-host Kevin Casey, and today we are joined by Josh Pitts. How are you, Josh?
I'm amazing, and I could not be more excited to be hanging out with you amazing people as well. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
We love you. You're always so sweet. Your title is founder and CEO, which stands for uh, Chief Enthusiasm Officer. This is no surprise of Shred Media. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days, Josh, because it shifted slightly from when you started Shred. Tell
Yeah.
us what's going on in your world.
Yeah, so we shifted from Shred Media. A lot of people know they saw us. And it's funny, Audrey and Kevin, even sometimes you guys, what does Shred actually do? Like we see you here, we see you on stage, we see you speaking, we see you coaching. What do you actually do? Well, ultimately we help companies show up on social media in a more authentic, genuine way. But recently we've shifted to video editing. People always came to us, Josh, we love your videos. How do we make better videos? How do we do this? How do we do this? Will you help us with editing? Can you teach us how to edit? And we did. We started teaching classes on how to do video editing, CapCut, Adobe. And it got to the point where everybody's like, hey, this is amazing. Thank you for teaching us, but will you just do it for us? Like your videos look so good, just do it for us. So we did that. So we shifted from Shred Media, and now we launched an app and a tool and a service called Shred It, which is literally a video editing all in one done for you. It's like having a video editing team in your pocket. And that's what we're focused on right now. We're helping people crank out amazing looking content. We take your videos and make them into social media masterpieces.
So for anyone,
Wow.
it's interesting. I was at what was I at this weekend? I was at what did they call it? I don't know, a gathering of different entities in a room full of businesses who want to market to, the consumer, etc. So I was talking to this guy who was spending $1,000 a month on coaching. And one of the things is he wants to have more of a social media presence. And I said, well, today would be a great opportunity for you to make a video and just post it, make it short,
Yeah.
make it, oh, I'm not ready for that. Oh, I'm not ready for that. I mean, really, and boy, Josh, and you remember this with me, I am sure. I mean, I was so resistant. I mean, if you had imagined all those years ago, and I don't even remember how many, when you had said, Audrey, you should do this, and I said, I'm not going on video, would you have ever imagined me being here today? Ever? No.
Yes,
No.
he did. He did.
Not in the,
Because he
no,
told you you had to do videos.
He told
it's
me I
funny.
should, but I said no, absolutely not.
I
Not
was gonna
Just
say
like I
you
envisioned
you
you being on videos.
you were so resistant to it, Audrey. And I remember I'm just like, you have to. And you're just like, well, I don't like, you were like almost petrified. And I'm like, why? Because you're incredibly knowledgeable. You're amazingly beautiful. You're talented. Just get out there and like, people are going to love you for who you are. They don't care. And Audrey, this is one of the number one things I get from everybody. Like, Josh, I don't love the way I look, or they overthink it. And I say this time and time again, perfection kills progress. Like if you think it
yes,
needs to be perfect, like you're
yes.
never going to do it. You're going to make some bullshit excuse that really doesn't matter. And ultimately, you are being way more selfish on the idea of how you look and not showing up, because again, we each have a God-given gift and a talent and an ability to change lives and impact people every single day. But and all we need to do is hit the record button. If we overthink what we look like or how we sound or this or that, we're never going to help people. We're never going to ultimately do what we set out on this earth to do.
So I was channeling my inner Josh Pitts, and I was telling this kid, make a video today. Like, do it with this in the background, all these people, all these booths, all this activity around real estate, and make it for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, make it short, and don't make it perfect and just post it. And he goes, he did not, he goes, maybe in 3 to 6 months. And all I can think of is, oh my God, I so relate to that.
Maybe never.
So I know
Kevin,
that,
Kevin nailed it, because that's it. Like I love when people say, oh, 3 months, 6 months, or even like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I said, if you say you're going to do it tomorrow, you're never going to do it. Like, and I'm just being honest with them, because one thing leads to another. Next thing you know, like, oh, well, I had this today, or I got busy. I had to call a realtor. I had to put out a fire on a loan. We've all been there. We all have those loans. And then we get busy and then we never do it. And then, like I said, tomorrow turns into next month, turns into next year, and then you never show up.
okay, so if somebody calls you and says, hey, I know I should be doing this and I'm not, you will guide them through this process. Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love guiding people through this process, because it literally is so simple. We are our biggest critics. We are our worst fans. All we need to do is simply hit the record button. And we designed Shred It with that. And like, literally designed it with the end user and especially mortgage professionals. I'm still a licensed mortgage professional. People forget that. I don't originate anymore, but I still have a license, an active MLO license in the state of Utah. And I designed it with mortgage and real estate professionals in mind. With that, what you're talking about, Audrey, is, and even Kevin, like they people, mortgage professionals in particular, we overcomplicate things, we overthink things. So when we design the app, I've used every editing tool, every piece of AI. I've used them all, and we took bits and pieces of every single one of them, and we put them into a user experience to where literally on your phone, we could do it. I mean, we could do it here live within 30 seconds. You could have a video uploaded to our app onto a what we call a shredder. Yeah, you like what I did there? A shredder.
That's pretty good.
They're your personal guide. They're the ones, they're gonna take it and they're gonna do your captions for you. They're gonna add graphics. They're gonna add your logo if you need to have, you know, your guidelines at the bottom, or if you have certain things that you want on it. If you want Michael Scott from Dunder Mifflin to pop up behind you, we can literally do anything you want in video form. We want to take all that guesswork out of it. So all you have to do is hit the record button, record a great little message. And Audrey, you nailed it. It doesn't need to be, people think they need to share, especially you mortgage pros out there, everybody listening, because you're a mortgage pro. You don't need to word vomit on everybody. Pick a topic, be very, very specific for 15 to 20 seconds, simplify the hell out of it, and do that. Like 20, 30 seconds. Short form content is doing the best on social media. You don't need to have the next podcast. Just do short form content. You'll win.
That's right. We all have the attention span of gnats, so we may as well just embrace that and go forward. And again, if I can do video, anyone can do video. There is no way to overstate how I didn't want to. I hated the way I looked. I hated everything about the idea. I didn't want to. I thought, well, who in the heck would want to listen to me? And here we are, almost a half years later, and we're doing this thing every single week, and it's crazy. And so again, the biggest thing, in my opinion, is it doesn't need to be perfect. Just remember, just do it. Just do it. It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm like the poster child for that. God knows you could go back on all of our videos. None of them are perfect. We have earthquakes. We've had people have hurricanes. We had power
hurricanes,
outages.
earthquakes.
I mean,
What else
it
we
is.
had?
It's been crazy, and we just roll through it. You know why? Because we're LOs, and LOs adapt. LOs figure things out. LOs also do overcomplicate things, and in our defense, we're always thinking 25 steps ahead because some ding dongs are going to come up with some condition that flies out of nowhere, and you're going to have to figure out how to deal with it. Or anyway, so with all that, it's really great that you are doing this. So people are embracing this idea. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They're starting. Here's the thing too. And to Kevin, your idea of excuses, a lot of questions I get asked is I'll get a call. Somebody wants to help us guide them on this journey of, because it is a journey. It doesn't just happen today. And like, sure, you can hit the record button, but there's definitely some things that we can help guide you through. But number one question I get asked is, well, what equipment do I need? What camera do I need to go buy? What microphone? What lighting? Da, 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 da. And I'm like, none. Like, I designed Shred-it, so you do it on your phone. I am on my phone, ladies and gentlemen. I'm literally sitting on my boat right now on my iPhone. Like, that's where you need to. That's all you need. And I have a pair of $15 wired
AirPods. Headsets,
wired. Yeah, it's wired. Like it's not even the wireless ones. It's a wired headset. My audio is great. My video is okay. I'm just doing it. You don't need a fancy. People think they need to go buy a $2,000 camera or a $1,000 microphone and then a mixer and then this and that. No way. I mean, again, I designed Shred-it so you could literally take your phone out of your pocket, record a quick message. Maybe you had a client call and they said, hey, I'm a first-time home buyer, just had a couple of quick questions. Those questions just turned into amazing content for you. You write those down, you turn your phone on, you record it, you upload it to the app, you're good to go. Like, that's how content should be, because people want the real, the authentic, the genuine you in your element. They don't want Steven Spielberg. They don't want James Cameron. They just want Audrey. They want Kevin in your real situation and circumstance.
That's right. It's the real stuff that people really embrace. And just in case anyone's looking at Josh's current situation and thinking he's on a boat, but did he forget to put it in the water? He is.
Oh, no, wait. Well, because first of all, aren't you in Utah?
Oh yeah. I'm in Utah.
In the middle of the desert.
In the middle of the desert.
Yeah, exactly. So Josh is moving his family onto a boat, and they are going to launch it tomorrow, and then they're talk about adapting and making something mobile. So his system works if he can literally take to the wild ocean and with his family and still continue to do what he's doing, right? So you do videos all the time. I see them and they pop up, which is great. And that's when I see what when I watch them often is they just pop up on my feed and then I just click and poof, there you are. And so you're going to be able to do this no matter where you go because your system is so simple. Yes.
100%. And that's why I designed it. And that's part of, not the main reason, but we wanted to show people that you can create amazing content, that you can change lives, that you can literally work from anywhere. You can do mortgages from anywhere in the world. I'm going to say that hypothetically. I know there are guidelines. I know there are, when it comes to compliance, things like that. I'm going to be very cautious on what I say when it comes to that. But you really can. With the world of Starlink, it literally has revolutionized our world, that you can travel and you can do the things. You can spend time with your family. That's my main goal of doing this, is spending more time, more quality time with my family. My kids are 12 and 10. My wife is incredible. And is it going to be easy? No. Are there going to be ups and downs along the way? Absolutely. But I can share the adventure along. I can create content. Audrey, to your point, I can literally record a video, talk about what's going on. I can share it through the app, and it's that simple. No more overthinking it, no more complicating it. I'm on a boat, for crying out loud, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm still going to create content.
It's on a boat and almost in the water.
Almost in the water. Here, I'll show you real quick. Can I turn my camera around? Let me see if it'll let me turn the camera around real quick. Right there. You see right there. There's the water. Tomorrow.
So close. So close.
So close yet so far. It is right there.
I was telling Josh, I grew up sailing and it was always my dream to live on a boat. I got older and I thought, maybe I do want a little more space, but I'm just so excited about his upcoming adventures. I cannot freaking wait to hear all about it. So it's wonderful. Okay, so somebody says, okay, that's it. I'm going to finally do this. I'm going to finally do it. Just so we'll make sure we get your contact information. We'll embed it in the YouTube video. And we'll make sure that we provide it to people so that they can get in touch with you. So they call you, and then how does it work? Walk us a little bit through the process. So you just talk to them and you set them up on the phone. Is it that simple?
It's even easier than that. They can go to shreditclips.com and shreditclips.com. It's literally, you can sign up. Even this, I'm not going to pitch my product. Like, you guys can go check it out and look at it. But we actually we created a specific discount code for the Mortgage Professionals 411 group. If you use code MP411, you're going to get an insane discount, because Audery and Kevin, they love you so much. So if you decide you want to use it, again, if you have questions directly, call me, text me. Like, my numbers, I'm not a difficult guy to find. If you can't find me on social, I'm doing something wrong. But if you have questions, reach out to us, reach out to our team. We want to guide you through this process. I'm not one of those people who are just like, oh, buy our product, buy our service, and get after. Like, if you need if you're just starting this journey, let us know. How does this help small broker LO shop? That's a great question, Alan. Like, if you're a broker, if you're a shop, imagine getting your mortgage professionals out there. If you're a small broker shop and you're wanting to grow, maybe you're wanting to recruit, maybe you're just wanting to get more in front of your local community as a broker shop. You get more of your LOs creating content, having them send videos through Shreddit and the app. Now they're putting out, you're getting seen more, you're getting more eyeballs, you're getting more attention. That's how you win. Honestly, in the world of social media, you have to be more active. You have to be more present, because the Rockets of the world, the UWMs of the world, these big companies that you're competing against, you have to be able to show up. Rocket is spending, like, people love to rag on Rocket. I don't rag on Rocket. Rocket is brilliant with the money they're spending. They're going to outspend you. The only way you can compete is show up them. You just have to show up. You don't need to spend ad dollars. You don't need to, because that's the number one thing I get asked too, is like, oh, Josh, now I've created a video. Should I put money behind it? No, just do another video. Just show up. It's free. Yeah, it's free to show up on social media. People forget that is literally free to show up. So instead of doing that, just show up. So yes, Audrey, we really have simplified it. We made it so easy that all of you should be doing it. Don't overthink it. I'm in Florida. How can I get your info? Send me an email, josh@shredmedia.com. Alan, josh@shredmedia.com.
Yeah. He can come meet you on your boat.
Yeah, come hang out.
I mean, help you put it in the water.
That is part of what would happen with me is, I mean, I have certain things I'm interested in, things I'm good at. I mean, people would start talking about the process to do all this in the past, and I would just glaze over. I mean, I'd hear like the first two sentences, and then I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm out. So it is not, that is no longer an excuse. So it is something, and people Google us. So your friend says, hey, you should call my friend, Josh or Kevin for a loan. And the first thing they're going to do is Google you, even if they were referred by someone. And so you need to be
Yep.
found, you need to be visible. And so the more you can be seen and familiar to them, then when someone hands their name. So, the more we can do this in our local communities and getting back to, where is our base and where are we seen and visible is really helpful, right?
Oh, 100%. You nailed it. You just have to be, again, don't overthink it. Just simply hit the record button, share the message. You just need to be seen. We hear this too often, and I don't love it anymore. We used to call it the digital mayor, the digital mayor of your community. You really do. You need to be the digital mayor. You need to be showing up at local. We mentioned events earlier. You had a realtor, a friend that was at a realtor. You should be at events. You should be talking to people at event. I know we're going into summer, but what are some of the summer activities? Like, share some of the things that you and your kids are going to go do. Share the things that you and your family are going to do. It doesn't take long. It can take 30 seconds. Hey, here, we just found this new park. I'm going to share this new park down here on 123 Baker Street. Check this out. Being the digital mayor in your community is what you need to do. And it does. And again, we as mortgage professionals think we need to be sharing mortgage all the time.
Right.
No, value is in the eye of the beholder. If you as a mortgage professional, and I'm just somebody, maybe I'm one of your friends following along, and I've seen the mortgage stuff, but you share a local park, a local splash pad. It's 100 degrees outside, and me and my kids are looking for something to do. If you and your wife take the kids to a splash pad and you share, like, hey, we're hanging out here at a splash pad, you guys come check this one out, this is a cool one. Hey, that's valuable to me. My kids have been bitching and whining that they want to go cool off somewhere. So there you go. You just got to win. That is valuable content. Remember that. We often think that it has to be the lowest rates or the best program or this,
Right.
and it's mortgage specific. No, value. If you make me smile, that is valuable. You just connected to me in a humanistic way where now I truly like, oh, Audrey, she made me smile. Oh, Kevin, he shared that. He really made me think about something in a different way today. That's what connects. This is a relationship game. We always say that. Social media is more relationship based than anything else you've ever done. If you're just trying to sell somebody on a mortgage, if you're just trying to get them into their next house, people see it, people feel it.
Yep.
They want to be part of your life. They really do. They just want to be part of what you're doing.
I had that experience this week with a referral. There was someone who wanted financing to put money into building an ADU in his property in San Francisco. And I spent most of my time figuring out that, you know what, that's probably not the best use of your money. Let me explain why it's not the best thing. And I explained how, he's going to have to comp to other ADUs now instead of just a property without an ADU. And it's going to actually could lose value. You're not automatically adding value. And, oh, wait a minute, you're going to have to deal with, if you were thinking about doing an Airbnb in San Francisco and that ADU, that's not going to work. And I just went down this whole litany of items of why he didn't want to do it and what he should do instead. And he came back with like, my God, you're the best mortgage person I ever spoke to. I didn't talk about mortgage at all.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do is tell someone why, what they're really in for, right?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
And I always think, okay, nobody cares what I'm doing in my life. I mean, honestly, I mean, most of the pictures on my personal feed, my mother posted, and they're of our huge Italian family and these monster get-togethers. Like anytime we have let's say we have Thanksgiving. Uh-oh.
Keep talking. I have to move. The sun
Okay.
is starting to hit me, so I have to move position. So
Okay.
keep going.
Okay, got it. That was so
Keep going.
my brain went blank with this when Josh went away. Anyway, so yeah, so there's 30 of us in our immediate family. And so that's my mom. It's always my mom. And I always think, okay, does anyone really care? But they do like to see that. They do feel like it's personal. They do think that it's interesting when they see what you're up to. And recently in my neighborhood, there was a super bloom in the open space, and there was a TikToker from China visiting her family or their family. I don't know if it's a her or him. And they posted about the super bloom. And all of a sudden, for 2 weekends in a row, you could not get a parking place for like
I had that happen to me too.
not a little space. I mean, literally the entire area. It was remarkable.
Yep.
So people do pay attention. They do want to see those things. It's all interesting. We do want to see Josh put his boat in the water tomorrow. We're all super interested in this, all of us. So
But you're so right. And it's so funny that you say that because people ask me all the time, like, Josh, I love gardening. Can I share gardening? Absolutely. Like, there are people that love to garden. There are people that connect with everything. And that's why it just baffles me that we as mortgage professionals think we have to be showing up as a mortgage pro all the time or as a real estate professional. Kevin just said, like, we build the best relationships when we're not talking about those things. You would not believe me sharing some pictures of the boat because I haven't shared a ton about it yet. We're getting ready to, our whole La Vida Shred channel is coming out and we're doing a whole bunch of stuff around it. But me talking about, like, Audrey, when you found out I was going sailing, you're like, oh my gosh, I used to go sailing as a girl. I had this dream. I have had hundreds, and I'm not even joking, hundreds of people reach out like, that's amazing. We've thought about this. This is an amazing journey for your kids. It has just sparked so many conversations. And no joke, I've had people like, hey, are you still doing mortgages, by the way, during this time as well? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I'm not. I could have probably closed 20 or 30 mortgages about this boat post. And I mean that respectively, but people care about what we do. So it doesn't have to be about mortgage or real estate. Let people in. You have to remember, a mortgage is one of the most personal transactions you're getting to know social security numbers, you're getting to know income, you're getting to know the truly intimate details of people's lives. And people always like, well, Josh, I don't want to share about the things that my hobbies, I don't want to share about my kids, I don't want to share. Respectively, if you don't want to share about your kids, like my spouse doesn't love social media. She doesn't love to show up as much as I do. I love my career's built on social media. But and again, if you don't want to share your whole world, that's okay. As a matter of fact, some of you shouldn't share your whole world. I've seen parts of your whole world. I'm not
terrifying.
But that doesn't mean you can't share some of the personal aspects of your life. A child's soccer game or sporting event or something they accomplish, you accomplish. So these are the things that human beings truly connect with.
Well, then the next time I'm working in my yard and I have like trees in my hair because everything gets stuck and I've got dirt literally everywhere, I'm going to take a picture and post that. That's what I'm going to do. And then it's so pretty, so, okay. All right. I'm going to do it too. Finally, myself, not just this. So, okay. So if you have a team, how does that work? Like if somebody has a team, then how do they do the social media presence? What do they do differently than like an individual, or is it all individual or what?
No, you do it as a team. Like, are you talking multiple LOs? Are you talking like a junior and an underwriter and a processor, or what do you mean?
Any of that is.
Honestly, if you guys don't follow Min Win or What's a Mortgage, good friend of mine. He's actually in California. We actually do all of his video editing. I don't bring him up for that, but him and his team, he has an entire team based around him. He's a great example. He involves his team. He actually does video with them at times. He has them be part of it. He has LOs doing other videos themselves. He'll put out an idea. And why I share Min Win is because the guy does an incredible job. And I don't just share him because he has hundreds of thousands of followers across social media, but he does a very good job with dynamic content, not just around mortgage, but around involving his team. Like you mentioned, Audrey, he'll have one of his LOs come on a video, or he'll give them an idea and have them record a different video as well, or even the same video. Because here's the cool part. And our app actually does this as well. Inside Shred It, we give you video prompts. We give you ideas. Maybe you don't know what to post today. You can pull up the app, and in the prompt section, it can say, hey, here's a VA topic. Here's a FHA topic. Here's you could break down all the acronyms alone, and all the acronyms we have are PMI, FHA, USDA. You could literally do a video series just around acronyms, but you could record the exact same video as one of your team members. Yeah. Literally, I could give you the exact same script. If all three of us have the exact same script and we read it and we record it, it's going to come off different. The way our mannerisms, how we say it, how we portray, and that's okay. I tell people, if you've got a great idea, share it with your team and have them create a video around it as well. If you have a processor, if you have an underwriter, and if you want to show people what the process actually looks like and give them a behind the scenes, like, hey, after I chat with you, my process, this is what she does. Because people hear these things. I remember I had a really good client that I'm so glad that I had this experience early on in my mortgage career, because I said, okay, now and I thought I was the smartest dude on the planet. I said, okay, now that you're through the original, or now you fill out your application, you're going to go through my processor. She's going to get all the details. Then we'll go to our underwriting. Then they'll send it over to the lender. And I remember he's like, what the hell did you just say? What does all that mean to me? Why should I care about that? And I'm like, oh, he has no idea what a processor is. He doesn't care what an underwriter is. He doesn't care. He's got to go through the lender. And so you could break that down. Hey guys, here's Lisa. She's my processor. Here's what she does. ABC. After it goes that, again, and those could all be different videos. They should be different videos. They should break down the process. I've seen some amazing videos, some very, very insightful videos. Break that down for you. And don't just let your CRM do it. Like, I'm going to call all of you out. I know I love Total Expert. I love Surefire. They have some videos that go, you're the main content. You are the reason people are doing a mortgage with you. Not the creative content they put out. Again, beneficial. They want to see you. They want to hear you. They want to see your team. Audery, to your point, that's how it helps them, is they get to know you and your team better. You're getting to know them and their family through this process. Your mortgage team, your mortgage family, they should get to know that as well. So that's one way. Also, if you have a branch or a team, get everybody involved. Start creating content. Every single one of you, back to Alan's question, you should have your entire team creating content. If you're a local mortgage company in the community, again, I'm in St. Augustine, Florida right now. If I'm in St. Augustine and if I've got a branch here, I want to own St. Augustine. I want everybody, anytime they think about mortgage, anytime they think about buying a house down on off of A Street, I want them to be the first ones they think of. You need to be the digital mayors in your community, and that's going to help your branch be way better off on social media than ever before.
So every time you say involve your team, my brain flashes on my processor. And what we should do is video me proposing this to my processor, because he's the guy that when I call him, I'm like, hey, how are you doing? He's like, fine. He's brilliant. I love him. My favorite thing is to tell him how much I love him. It makes him squirm. But yeah, anyway, but to your point, I think it's a great idea. You involve the people that can help show what it looks like. And then you could do a video that says, hey, I know you just want me to show you the money, but here's what happens in between, and you're a part of it. So here we go. So I think it's a great idea. And I think the more we can just relax, not be so uptight about this, not worry so much. It is, so this is the boring guy behind the scenes, Dirk says. Yeah, well, there is always a boring guy, but usually there's a less boring person too. So, make sure they get some airtime. All right. So as far as schools, church, Kevin and I have talked about this a number of times where, we were both, I was room mom for 2 classes all the way through. I was on the board for swim team. I was Little League president. I did all sorts of things, and
You got a lot of loans out of it, didn't you?
I got so many loans, and I didn't go into it expecting that at all. But, when they see that signature line at the bottom of the email that says, hey, we need you to bring stuff for the teacher on Tuesday, you get business, right? So anyway, it's, so how are people doing that these days? Like, do you, at church, how do you let someone know at church or wherever? Is it organic, or do you tailor things through your system to those places?
You can do it either way. I would say tailoring it, though, for sure, is probably the best. And I always tell people, specifically when it comes to like PTA or serving on school boards or being active in schools, it will produce, again, this is being a true digital mayor. You're in the community, you're a part of the community, you're showing people you're giving back. Although your kids might be involved, you're still serving the community in one way, or even if your kids aren't involved, you're just able to go serve and go to be part of these different things. That is a great opportunity to be sharing a message and doing it on social media too. Like, hey, by the way, we're putting on the local fundraiser. This is baking goods or whatever. I don't even know what you do these days. I homeschool my kids, so
Gotcha.
But
you're missing out on those loans, man.
I guess so.
When I was Little League president, it was like 600 years ago when my oldest son was young. I wish we'd had social media then, and I wish I had been doing this, because and I bet you I was doing 40 hours a week when I was president. It was a huge job. And I just want you to imagine me like 15, 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago, and a bunch of men who were looking at me going, it was
about baseball.
And I was like,
fastball.
Baseball for children. This is what we're doing. It's baseball for children. They're like, huh? So anyway, those would have been hilarious videos, but embrace it now, guys. We have these opportunities. Take them, because we all need to get used to this. And there's so much stupid crap on when you go online. So do something different and make it short. Don't make long things. Just short is good, right?
I tell everybody, unless you're truly going to do a podcast like we're on here, short form content is the way to go. Keep it simple, superstar. KISS. Like, it is my favorite line in the world. And you just got to keep it simple, especially if you're talking mortgage or even if you're talking baseball. If you're talking baseball, Little League, if you're talking anything, short, digestible content is what you need to be doing. That's what you need to be sharing. If you decide to do a long form podcast and then go break it, like even on this, the discussion that the three of us are having, we've got some great content that we could go back and clip it up and shorten it down. And there's some great little shares through here. But yeah, to your point, Audrey, whatever it is you're sharing, do short. Plus, we can all do short. It's easy to do a 30-second quick little message about talking about, hey, did you know when you steal a base during Little League? I don't know baseball at all. So I tried to go a baseball analogy, but I never mind. I'm just going to lose if I even go further into that. But whether it's sports, whether it's PTA, whether it's a local fundraiser, whatever you're doing, yes. If it's church related, I always tell people, a lot of people are very nervous when it comes to sharing like their religious beliefs. If you're a religious person and you're comfortable with it, then sure, why not talk about it? I talk about my faith and my religion, not frequently, but I share it because it's a big part of my life. It's a big part of my family's life. So you can absolutely, especially if you're interacting. I worked a lot with the youth. I love working with youth. I love helping them on their journey of adulthood and the challenges that they go through. I shared that journey quite frequently. So absolutely. And again, if you're out doing an event, we actually have a gentleman, I won't share who it is, just for privacy reasons, but it's something that he does. He's very involved with his church, and every single week he does an activity with the youth. He'll record a couple of clips while he's with his youth. He'll upload it to Shred It. We'll put it together with some cool transitions and with some cool like what's going on, and it just looks really cool, and it just spices up that video. It keeps his community's attention. That's one thing that you have to remember. The goal of every social platform is to keep you watching. Like, they just want to keep your attention. The longer they can keep your attention, the more money they can get through sponsors and through ads. So they're just trying to keep you there. So if you've got a video that's keeping people's attention, then you're going to do better on social. And that's what Shred It does. It just brings it gets people from the scroll. Instead of just scrolling, it catches their attention. Like, oh, what is Audrey talking about here? Oh, what is Kevin doing today? Oh my gosh, it catches their eyeballs. You have to have something that stands out from the noise. There's a lot of noise on social right now. You don't need to you don't need to go over the top. I see some of these people trying to go over the top. I'm like, whoa, too much. And we've all seen it. We're like, oh my, you're trying a little too hard.
Try too hard. Yes,
back it down. Just be yourself. Have a few little things that stand out from the crowd, and you're going to do amazing.
Right. And somebody said, don't do it at church. And there's a huge difference between walking through church with your phone going, hey, have I got to listen? Or just, look, this is what we're doing out in the community today, or this is whatever. Like, you can tailor it so it feels natural and right and good to you and reflects you and your values. Nobody wants to see a sales pitch, most especially there. But anyway, it's you figure out what works for you, right?
Yes. And this is a good point. I will caution people. I can't remember her name. I know she's since changed her account, but her name was, I think it was Sister Hallelujah is what her name was for a minute. And she literally would be in church and she'd be recording like when they were like, hallelujah, praise the Lord. And I'm not trying to be it was. And she went viral for a long time, but then she got the haters that came out like, hey, this is a very religious thing. This is a very sacred practice. So just be cautious. Be thinking about that. Be thinking of other people. Again, it doesn't matter what we do in this life. We're going to offend somebody in one way or another. Just be very thoughtful. Right. And again, we're going to have our haters. We're going to have the people that, and I always tell you, the more haters you have, the more successful you are. It's okay. Like, it is okay to be sharing those things. Like I said, I like sharing some of the faith and some of the things that I do behind the scenes, if appropriate, but just keep in mind, you don't want to be polarizing. You don't want to be doing something that is so, polarizing that people are like, oh my gosh, like that's cringeworthy. Be smart here, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Well, I think when you start, like if depending on the situation, if you're highlighting yourself over everything else, it's really obvious and people don't love that. But again, there will be judgy people, always. And I have been told the same thing. You really made it when you have haters. It doesn't feel good though. Let me tell you that much. Okay, there's a few things going on out there. I want to take a little moment and talk about a couple of things. A reminder. So these are little snippets that you could use in a video, a short version video for a posting opportunity. So Rob Chrisman had posted last week, and it's a really good reminder that the insurance companies are running drones and using satellites and doing aerial views of people's houses to find out why they want to cancel you or can cancel you for your insurance coverage. So this is something that the public needs to be aware of. I'm seeing more and more awareness out there of this, but it is something that we could share. You could do 30 seconds of, hey, make sure your roof is cleaned off. Hey, make sure the trees are cleared away from your house. Hey, make sure that you've cleaned up, all the brush, because you may not realize it, but the insurance companies are coming to look at you. And so it could be that short and that sweet. So I would highly recommend that. Also want to make sure that everyone is aware that VA, as promised, has issued a temporary fix to allow buyer paid broker fees on real estate transactions. So there was a lot of concern with the NAR settlement coming into play that, VA wasn't good. The VA borrowers weren't going to be able to do their transactions if no one was paying the buyer side. That, of course, has been fixed. It is temporary. It will go into effect August 10th, 2024, and it will be valid until it's rescinded. And what VA indicated is that their plan is they're going to see how this all plays out. And they want it, whatever you're going to be doing with your transaction needs to be normal for the market. You know how they love that, right? So if your area is allowing for this, then VA is going to allow for it, and it will be something that your borrowers will be able to incorporate and get their transactions closed. So that's good news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Audrey, I'm gonna take yours and take it one step further, because what Audrey just shared was brilliant. And Derek, I want to get some of these anti-aircraft missiles as well. I'm all about shooting down those drones. But Audrey mentions a good point. But let's take it one step further, because she just gave a great idea to be sharing this. But let's go take a snippet of Rob Chrisman's on that homeowners insurance and the drones. Take a snapshot of that, upload it to Shreddit, and we can do a green screen. So you can have Rob's report behind you. You can see the article. You guys have all seen these green screens, and I get questions all the time like, how do I do that? Can you help me with this? Yes, you just upload it and say, hey, I want this. And you can be walking around. You don't need to have an actual green screen behind you. People always think you need to have a green screen. No, with editing, with the magic of editing these days, we can make you look like you have a green screen behind you anywhere that you are. But now you have Rob Chrisman's report behind you, and you tag Rob Chrisman and the Chrisman report in it. Now you're getting in front of his audience. They're getting in front of your audience. This is a win-win. Same thing with the information that just came out about VA, the VA housing rule. Yep. You go talk about Housing Wire. I saw just before I got in here, I saw a Housing Wire's article, or even the Mortgage Pros 411. They put out an update. Ladies and gentlemen, did you see the VA? Then you take a screenshot of that. Now you're getting Mortgage Pro. You're tagging Mortgage Pros. You're tagging Audrey. You're tagging this team. This helps all of us. You have to remember, this is the idea behind social media. Social media is designed to be social. The more we can interact, the more we can include others in content like this, because Audrey, this is brilliant. We should all be talking about these things. And I guarantee all of you are like, well, if Audrey's talking about it and Kevin's talking about it and Josh is talking about it, I don't need to talk about it because everybody is. Yes, you do. Because Kevin, Audrey, and Josh aren't the same ones in front of your community every single day. Right. You are.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Okay. Another thing I wanted to make sure that we highlight again, I've mentioned it briefly, but Fannie Mae, everyone keeps revising their rate forecast down or up, depending on which way we're talking about. So they are, I just want to go through this again. I cannot say this enough for all the people who are waiting for the rates to come down. It is a fool's errand, kids, because nobody ever expected them to hit 8%. So come down from where is always going to be the burning question. And some of the headlines I'm seeing now are really interesting about where they're going to go. So you got to watch it. So in Q2.
And actually, an interesting stat I heard this week, in 1971, if you waited for interest rates to go down before you bought a house, you'd have waited 24 years.
Oh, holy guacamole. That's a, wow, take that one and swallow it. That's something else.
It could be the same thing.
Okay, so the prior forecast for this quarter, Q2, or the quarter that just ended, Q2 2024 was 6.7%. Now we're up to 7.1% for Q2. They are expecting, let's go to Q4. They were forecasting we would be at 6.4%. Now the forecast is for 7%. Q4 2025, they were forecasting that we'd be at 6%. Now they're saying we'll be at 6.6%. So for the next year and a half, there is no forecast from Fannie Mae. And I think NBA has been right in there with them, revising their forecasts again for the worse, that there's nothing showing that we're going to have these huge rate swings that are going to change our world. So it is really, really important to get out there and just let people know that the time is now, because appreciation, my friends, does continue
That's
to
not
get
going
better.
away. That
It
same
is,
stat I just told you about, the 1971 to 1994 stat,
yep,
while rates did not go down those whole period, home values quadrupled.
right. And that just keeps happening. And geez Louise, what's happened with appreciation in the last couple of years, we all know is crazy. What's interesting right now is, and Josh, I meant to ask you about this earlier. So if you haven't noticed, because you've been so busy getting ready to launch, that's fine. So the sales activity is not the same throughout the country. So the Northeast is showing huge strength, the South, not so much. Are you noticing anything in Florida? Because we're hearing the inventory levels are going through the roof, and there are some things aren't quite as crazy as they were as far as.
No, I'm definitely seeing, especially down here in Florida, and Alan lives here, so he can probably. I've only been here for a couple of months now, but it's funny because even I drive up and down the streets, and I'm like, that house is for sale. That house is for sale. That we've been looking because we're like, oh, maybe we'll get even a house down here as well. But like, there's quite a bit of inventory down here, and I know when I left Utah as well, we sold our house relatively quickly. Like the inventory was starting to go up there. I think we're now. I'm not gonna say that we're at all-time highs by any means, but I definitely don't think we had the inventory shortage that we once had. We're seeing a lot of different markets are seeing. I know there are markets who are still struggling. See, Alan just said lots of houses for sale, lots of houses for sale, and that's what I've seen while I've been here. I'm like,
Yep.
man, there's a lot of houses for sale here right now. So I don't think it's an inventory shortage. I think it's a mindset shortage is what it is. We've been
Right.
talking about it for so long. Everybody's just kind of like, oh, that's what the problem is. No. No more excuses. The houses are there. Interest rates, as we've talked about, and somebody else commented on it, date the rate or date the rate.
Yeah.
Don't,
Marry
not the
the-
house, whatever it is. Yeah, marry the house. That's what you need to that's why we need to be sharing more content. We need to get our communities, the people that are following us, our followers, are the people that we see day in and day out. We need to get them to realize that, hey, there is no more shortage. Now it's time. Interest rates, they're not going much higher. They're not going much lower. If you want to move now's the time to make it happen. So
We've embraced marry the house, take the rate to counseling. I saw it posted somewhere, and I can't take credit for it, so I'm not, but it is. I just thought that was so funny.
I think our friend
Anyway,
Jill posted that one.
what? No, it was online somewhere.
Oh, that's
Anyway,
funny.
meanwhile, CoreLogic, who is very conservative with their forecast, but they're very good with their data. They came out with their equity insights for Q1 2024, and we were up 9.6% in equity positions, which is 1.5 trillion year over year from Q1 2023 to Q1 2024. And the number of people with negative equity, which has not been very much in a long time, went from 1 million homeowners to 1,000,002 homeowners to 1 million homeowners. So it is very, very, the equity positions are great. There is nothing but, I mean, there's so much opportunity, guys. And the reality is, again, a lot of that inventory build, I believe, is because people are still sitting around waiting for the rates or waiting for this big crash or waiting for this, this Armageddon that's coming, which is not being forecast just based on demand. When you look at the bubble of people who want to buy houses right now, it is huge. And they don't think they can. That, I think, is our biggest problem. There's so much negative press about affordability and the rate.
That was mine today. Client making $36,000 a month in income, didn't think he could afford a house.
What? Where does he want to live?
I was laughing.
Yeah. I mean, again, so part of what we could do and use Josh, if we don't want to do it ourselves, which most of us don't, is get the message out there. It is so, so important to shift this narrative because the media is not getting the headlines straight at all. I mean, not even a little bit. So there was another headline where they were talking about the jobs report and how, surprising strength in May jobs report offers Fed a mixed look. Okay. The headline looked okay if you ignored the unemployment rate going from 3.9 to 4%. But if you really took a dive into that BLS jobs report, it was a bunch of garbage. And if you've been listening to us for any length of time, Kevin, how do I feel about the BLS report?
I mean, the BS report?
Yeah, the BS report. Exactly. So it is just, I mean, their revisions are ridiculous and terrible. They were saying in the birth death model, which is this estimate of what the small businesses, whether they're growing or dying, that we had I mean, it's just insane because they're guessing, right? So month after month after month after month, they come out showing that everything is sunshine and roses. So their headline number this month was 272,000 job creations. That was 90,000 higher than expected. But then you look at it, and 231,000 of them were from the birth death model. And ADP showed that there were 10,000 job losses in that sector. So and those are real numbers. ADP are
Where were the gains from?
from them guessing on how many new businesses were being created.
Oh,
Yeah. It's really not reliable. So the quarterly census employment wages, QCEW, say that 3 times fast, they came out with their report, and they show, and this is real data. So there were 800,000 less jobs created than BLS reported last year. And they look at 11.9 million businesses. So that BLS jobs report is a bunch of bupkis, not to be, rude or anything. Meanwhile, European Bank and Bank of Canada both lowered their rates a quarter. That is very interesting. The reason the market didn't like it is because even though it was the first rate cut in 5 years, and typically our Fed follows their Feds, the ECB said maybe there would be higher inflation, which nobody likes to hear that. So the markets all went to HE double toothpicks. But then we had a good 10-year auction today, and we all of a sudden are green on mortgage-backed securities. However, Josh, I'm almost done. Tomorrow, the Fed is meeting. Well, the Fed is meeting today and tomorrow. Tomorrow, they're going to come out. They're going to have their statement about what they're doing. That will be done without the benefit of the PPI, which they're going to have CPI in the morning. Sorry. CPI is coming out tomorrow, Consumer Price Index. So the Fed statement is formulated before CPI, before they see the reports tomorrow morning. So they'll be able to address it in their comments. So their comments are going to be very important. So just hang in there, guys, and do not take any risk when it comes to locking, because it could swing wildly one way or the other, God knows. And then we have PPI on Thursday, which is something. And then we have these auctions this week. So just hang in there and watch. But again, even though we have these movements in the market, we're not going to see huge improvements, it doesn't seem, right?
no, I think our biggest gain, is going to come from when there's more stability. I'm going to see that gap between the treasury bills and the mortgage.
More stability. You're so cute. When's that going to happen, Kevin?
Well, if the Fed leaves rates alone for a very long time, we'll have the most stable Fed rate in a very, very long time.
He's just being overly optimistic. It's all good. It's aggressively optimistic. I like it. We need more optimism like Kevin in this world.
Listen, since all I've done lately is private money and non-QM, I mean, I am fine with looking at someone in the eye and going, that would be 11 5/8, please. And yes, here are the numbers. This is how it makes sense, And so now I'm like, okay, we're going to go now. We're going to refinance those from 11 5/8. And now we're looking at 8 or 9. Not great, but better. I mean, it is what is available. It's how we can conduct business. And not for us. I mean, our clients' business. I mean, the fact that they need houses, they can't live in stagnation forever. If you just had your second child, you cannot live in a 1-bedroom condo anymore. You cannot. I mean, I guess you could.
You
It
could.
would be awkward. It wouldn't be great. Quality of life does occasionally factor into things, right? So anyway, the point is, these are all things we can take to social media, right? So a lot of the things that we talk about on this show every week, there are things that you could share with people. I mean, do people really care about, the minutia of the BLS jobs report? Probably not. But they are seeing these headlines that make them think that, oh, everything's fine and dandy. Oh, look how great everything is. And if you know what's going on the back end, and you can guide them and say, listen, yes, I know you're seeing this, but here's why it actually still makes sense for you to buy a house, and why this, or refinance or whatever, right?
Yeah. Well, I had it yesterday with someone asked me, so, I see all these signs that real estate's hitting the bad times. Like, well, that's mostly commercial real estate. and it doesn't affect residential real estate. And then I explained why, a default on a commercial real estate office building isn't as devastating to the world as on a residential home, because a residential home, someone gets evicted because they're foreclosed upon, they lose their housing. It's kind of bad across the board, but no one gets evicted, or typically doesn't get evicted, if it's a, office building and it's all filled with rentals and it forecloses. Well, the investor takes over, they just start managing the property, and all the tenants keep staying in the same place.
It is definitely, also remember, commercial is not all the same. I always think it's funny because we all say commercial. Okay, there are so many segments of commercial and some of them are thriving right now. And again, it depends on where you are in the country. If you're in Florida, it's one thing. If you're here, it's one thing. If you're in Timbuktu, wherever, it's another thing. So do not think that just because you see one headline, read the whole article. We've been preaching this for years, literally. Read the whole thing, but also read other sources, because there seems to be this addiction to negative narratives, and they catch your eye and they freak people out, but they're not always the case. So make sure, why should you buy a house right now? Josh, what's your favorite topic right now? Do you have one, Josh?
My favorite topic is Timbuktu. If you live in Timbuktu, you're not putting enough content out, because I don't know enough about Timbuktu. So you should be the digital mayor of that town, because you could crush it.
I'm gonna put
My
list.
My favorite topic right now out of everything is a topic that you, again, can be very, very well versed in and understand. There's my daughter hanging out with me today. She's getting her projects done too. My favorite topic is literally something that, like you said, Audrey, you can take it and simplify it. Whether it's the BLS report, whether jobs report, most people, again, we are seeing the headlines in them, but 99.9% of they don't read them. They don't really they don't understand them. They're going to pretend like they do. So if you can speak to them very knowledgeably and simply, then yeah, share something about it. But even then, most people, they're not going to care. They're unless they know how it's going to affect them and their equity stake in their home or the interest rate that they're paying, unless it actually affects the bottom dollar, they don't care.
That's
so break that down. Hey, here's what the jobs report actually means. We don't care that it dropped from this. We don't care that these many were created. This is what it means for you as a homeowner, and this is how you can capitalize it. That's it. That's all you need to share. I don't have a specific topic. I don't care. People are like, Josh, with the election year coming up, should we be talking more politics? No,
God, no.
hell no.
God, no.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
You really don't, because honestly, when I see these political posts, and again, respectively, some of you I know are that is your thing and that's what you want to do, then you better damn well die on that hill, because especially on social media, you are going to get wrecked on whatever your stance is. Yep. So when it comes to those type of things, I just tell people, going back to my polarizing content, whether it's religion, whether it's politics, whether it's going into those realms, it's just typically better not to go into that, because it will affect, even the people that you thought were your closest friends, they can become your worst enemies very, very quickly on social media. There's a difference between having a conversation on social media and having a conversations with your friends in an actual room. Yep. Social media gets your keyboard warriors out in a way that you can't imagine. Even your friends. I've had friends come at me on stuff that I'm like, bro, I saw you 2 weeks ago and I was talking about something similar. You didn't come out, but now you're coming at me on social media because I'm not face to face with you. So keep that in mind. Best topics, and I mean this going back to it. Don't be the beehive. Oh yeah. Don't be the beehive. Don't be the one kicking the pot, stirring the pot. You don't need to be that. I 100% agree with that. But also share things that when your community, and some of you have probably asked me, Josh has said the word community a lot. I say community instead of audience. A lot of people talking about having an audience on social. I completely disagree with that. An audience is somebody you talk at. Community is people you talk with. These are the people you're having this conversation. So I don't think you should be building an audience on social media. If you hear somebody say that, they're probably not helping you in the right way.
Yeah, no, we definitely have an audience community in this one.
Yeah, I was going to say, all the people that have been on this is a community. These are people you're sharing value with. You're helping. You want to see them thrive. Mm-hmm. So when you're sharing whatever topic it is, just make sure that they know it's you. If you do something out of the ordinary, if you do something that people are like, what the heck is she talking? What is he talking about? Where did this come from? then it actually is like, okay, this doesn't go well with them. If all of a sudden you come talking about things that you're not comfortable with, people see through it. People have a BS meter. We're talking about BS. People have a BS meter on social media like you couldn't believe. So find the topics that you really believe in and that you're comfortable talking about.
Yeah, 100%. It is, I also thought it was interesting too, because the NBA publishes their mortgage applications every week, Wednesdays. And so I don't get caught up in the week by week thing too much, just because it's too much of a yo-yo. So, but what I was interested in is that refinances continue to be about a third of transactions. And so make sure, because there's this idea, oh, the rates are 6 something, 7 something, and nobody's going to want to do a loan. And the reality is, in the face of all the debt, all the different life situations, people do need to do loans. And sometimes it actually makes sense for them to refinance their house. So don't rule it out. And then another little thing that caught my eye this week was, Andy Walden with ICE, which used to be Black Knight, he was talking about ARMs. And so there was a lot of discussion around the adjustables, and what was going on with those is they were starting to adjust with the rates being as elevated as they are. And so so this is what they said. So loans have been, there are 1.7 million active ARMs originated since 2019. I thought that was really interesting because I didn't think the number would be that high. They're mostly 5, 7, or 10 years. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense, right? So the only 300,000 of those 1.7 million are in the adjustable phase of the life cycle. And there are another 100,000 that are set to reset in the next 12 months. So it's not a lot, right? So what was really interesting is the bulk of the ARMs that are actually resetting at this point were originated prior to 2009. And while you would think that that was going to be a real problem because the rates are so much higher, the reality is they paid their principal balances down to the point where their loan balances are not very big. And so the impact on their monthly outgo is minimal. So I thought that was really interesting. So there are ARMs out there. Keep your eyes out for them, because there might be people who want to get themselves into a fixed rate opportunity. But the other good news is it doesn't look like that's going to be something that messes up the market, creates a bunch of foreclosures, and you know what I mean? It's not going to make a big, humongous mess. Isn't that good news?
That's great. I say we should be happy about that. We shall be smiling.
Know.
Every one of you smile right now. Break a smile. Let's see it.
That's right. That's right, Josh. I always told Josh he needed to smile, and he's the biggest smiler these days, huh? In completely unrelated, but I have to share this because I couldn't believe what I was reading. If you notice your banana prices going up, it's because Chiquita was just found liable for financing paramilitary groups in Colombia. That's right, kids. I mean, have you ever looked at
How does that affect my mortgage?
and thought, you know what? So if you see our inflation numbers go up because food prices are skyrocketing, it could be the bananas. But I mean, in all seriousness, they were found liable. They have to pay $38 million to the families of 8 victims. I mean, yeah, not good. I mean, I'm joking about the part of that, but the reality is that's crazy, crazy. So
That's why I get my bananas from Costa Rica. No freaking Chiquita. Now we're boycotting Chiquita.
oh my God, that's crazy. So, and by the way, in the face of all this inventory talk, inventory has returned to pre-pandemic levels in 14 of the largest US markets. So even though in some places we know, in some places we're hearing in Florida in the South, it is high. In general, overall, inventory levels are starting to normalize. And that's what we want. We want normal. We would like normal. And to Kevin's point, we'd like things to not be volatile. That's not easy to get to, by the way, because there's always some crazy thing coming out of somewhere. But we would like them to be a little calmer.
I
Okay.
think Dirk's anti-missiles against the drones. Yes.
Oh, he also pointed out that, people have a God-given right to have an interest rate under 3%. How dare you? And he is correct. So with all that being said, I just want everyone to think we are going to have the CFPB with us in 2 weeks. And I'd like you to think of questions that you would like us to ask them. I have already been making my list. And so if you have things that
Checking it twice.
and I definitely check it twice, probably more than that. And just email me.
Remember, Only live, not recorded with the CFPB.
Yeah, you have to show up on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific.
Show up early.
p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, because we cannot post that. So with all that being said, think of your questions because then we can address them then. So I was going to say my email address, audrey@mortgagepros411.com. And Josh, can you please tell the group your email address again, please, please?
Absolutely. Josh@shredmedia.com.
That's easy enough, right?
Easy.
Josh at
I think it's spelled shred.
SHRED. Shred. Show up, hustle, repeat every day.
SHRED. If you can't spell that, we got bigger problems we need to address. So with all that being said, Joshua, we absolutely wish you all the best. And we are so excited about this new adventure you're embarking upon with your beautiful family. So keep us posted and send photos and videos. I cannot wait. And with everyone else, have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Bye.